Let's take a live look outside here as we continue to follow heavy rainfall throughout the area with chances of flooding in some spots. There's a flood watch in effect through Thursday afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Drew Carney. Let's toss it right over to Chris McGinnis with the latest on this Weather Impact Alert Day. Chris.
Yeah, you mentioned it. The flood watch until noon Thursday, or 4 p.m. I should say Thursday. We do have some area rivers that are rising and are above flood stage and may continue to rise a little bit over the next 24 to 36 hours. Here's where we've been since Monday. Castle Rock, one of the big winners in the I-5 corridor in the northern Cowlitz County area, more than 5 inches of rain. We picked up more than 3 inches of rain in Longview. PDX, not far from 3 inches of rain. Again, mind you, this is just since early yesterday morning, and downtown we're up over 2 2/3 of an inch. Again, just since the wee hours of Monday morning. We continue with the KGW Weather Impact Alert into Wednesday for two facets to this. A, we are going to see additional rainfall, and while we have dialed back on those amounts a little bit with the expectation, maybe a ½ inch to an inch additional between now and tomorrow morning, standing water is still going to be an issue, especially for this afternoon's commute. Moving forward, I also expect the breeze to pick up, and I'll show you more on that in a second. Here's radar right now, and over the last 3 hours, the trend has been to drive that atmospheric river, that fire hose, if you will, a little bit down to the south, and also the rainfall rates have dissipated. We've got a break in the action right now along the North Oregon and South Washington coast, for instance. This may not completely shut off, and if anything, it'll start to bow back to the north, and eventually more wet weather will be on the uptick here across the region as we go into the afternoon and late afternoon. For now, obviously, it's cloudy. It's 47, by the way. It's chilly at the airport right now. Those temperatures will come up eventually, but maybe not until after sunset, about the time that the south breeze begins to pick up. I do anticipate south winds kicking up on the order of about 15 to 20, which brings in, I know that doesn't sound like very much, but it does bring in the possibility of more down trees in certain situations and more power outages, something that we've seen in some areas already today. I'll have your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes, Drew.
All right, from that update, Chris, we're going to check back in again with KGW Weather Impact Alert reporter Thomas Schultz. He's been tracking conditions on roads in the metro area there in Drive 8. So, Thomas, where have your travels landed you now, and what are you seeing? Well, I can tell you what Thomas is trying to say. We're obviously having a problem with his microphone there, but earlier this morning I know that Thomas saw a lot of water pooling in downtown Portland, cars driving through inches of rain on the road before PBOT was able to arrive. There was a lot of heavy rainfall and definitely flooding in the area that Thomas and his crew there in Drive 8 kept track of. Hopefully we'll be able to get Thomas's mic back here to give you an update a little bit later on. But for now, we will move on with our coverage here on this Weather Impact Alert Day. One of the things we're keeping an eye on is power loss, power outages throughout the area. So if you do lose power today or tomorrow, PGE suggests that you check to see if your neighbor's power is out too before you call the power company. Other tips include checking your electrical panel to see if any circuits have tripped. If you do need to report an outage, you can do that online at portlandgeneral.com, or you can give them a call at 503-464-7777. Falling trees and landslides will continue to be concerns here the next couple of days. This video we're showing you here is previous flooding from the area. Experts from the Oregon Department of Geology and Mineral Industries have a few tips regarding landslides. So they say listening can help identify a potential problem. Sounds that might indicate moving debris include trees cracking or boulders knocking together. Experts also say a trickle of mud or debris can sometimes predict a larger slide is coming. And if you live near a stream or a creek, water suddenly turning muddy can also indicate that debris flow may soon be coming downstream. Chris McGinnis is also going to join us again here in just a few minutes with another look at today's rainfall. And you can also stay on top of this story throughout the day today by downloading the KGW News app. Here's a look at some other local headlines this afternoon, starting in Canby, where police are investigating after a 15-year-old was shot and killed this past weekend. They also have another teen in custody. Officers responded to gunfire at the Greenbrier Apartments on South Locust Street just after 11 o'clock Sunday night. That's where they found the 15-year-old girl who had been shot. She died at the scene. Police confirmed the suspect is a 17-year-old boy who they say ran from the scene, but he was found and arrested about 2 hours later. Clackamas County officials say 19-year-old Matthew Cabrillo was the man shot by deputies Friday night after he allegedly came at them wielding an axe. This happened near Southwest Stafford Road and 65th Avenue, just outside Wilsonville. He was taken to the hospital where, at last check, he was in critical condition. Those two deputies, by the way, that were involved in this are on paid administrative leave. A grand jury is expected to review the case to determine if the deputies were justified in using deadly force. A federal judge has extended a restraining order keeping a Coast Guard search and rescue helicopter in Newport for another 2 weeks. The ruling comes as the judge considers a longer injunction. The lawsuit was filed after the Coast Guard helicopter was moved to North Bend in late October without any public notice. Dungeness crab season is set to start next week on the coast, and supporters say the judge's extension is critical because crabbing is such a dangerous job. Over in Washington County, high school students walked out of class on Monday to protest local immigration enforcement. So here's a look at some of the dozens of students that walked out at Aloha High School. And here's what a few of them had to say when we asked why they were demonstrating.
There's like a lot of immigrants, Mexicans, not just Mexicans, but a lot of Hispanics or like from other countries, like don't do anything and they're still getting deported for no reason.
I have a lot of Mexican friends. My friend recently got taken from ICE back in McMinnville, and same with his barber. So like, I'm just out here for that and stuff.
Students at other Beaverton high schools also walked out of class on Monday. Flames at the top of this Manhattan apartment building. Coming up here, we're going to let you know more about this fire that sent debris flying in New York City. And we'll also take a look at the damage from an earthquake in Japan as officials there continue to track aftershocks.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
New at noon, a huge fire broke out at this Upper West Side apartment building in New York City. Flames and black smoke poured out of the top of the 6-story building with debris that was on fire falling to the street below. So far, there's no word on what may have caused it. 3 people were hurt with minor injuries, but they're all expected to be okay. People in Japan, meanwhile, remain on alert after a huge earthquake hit off the country's coast on Monday. It shook buildings, it sparked fires, and it also triggered a tsunami warning. Our news partners at NBC have more with some dramatic images.
The powerful earthquake sparking fires near Japan's northern coast, shaking buildings, causing alarms to ring and homes to sway, triggering tsunami waves and panic. The full extent of the damage and injuries still not clear. The magnitude 7.6 quake putting communities on alert up and down the Pacific coast. 90,000 people urged to evacuate to higher ground, and many did. Japan's Prime Minister Sanai Takeichi saying the government is putting people's lives first. Officials said there were no problems so far at any of Japan's nuclear sites. The earthquake hitting just north of the devastating magnitude 9.0 quake and tsunami back in 2011. That damaged a nuclear plant and killed nearly 20,000 people. Japan, in the so-called Ring of Fire, has 3 times more earthquakes than California. Officials are bracing for aftershocks, but say the tsunami warning is now lifted.
There is some concern that a bigger quake could hit Japan here in the next few days. Officials are warning nearly 200 communities along the Japanese coast to be prepared. All right, from that story, we're going to go back to Chris McGinnis talking about our local forecast.
Yeah, so 2 3/4 of an inch of rain and counting, right? We've had one round of really significant rain go through the area, flooding rain in some cases, and another batch of some deep Pacific moisture is set to take aim on the region this afternoon through tonight and tomorrow. I'm going to walk you through that and the increasing wind threat that returns tonight as well. That's my full forecast in just a few minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Caught on camera, take a look at this dash cam video that shows a trooper in Virginia stopping at the scene of an accident on the freeway. A Tesla caught fire after it went off the road and slammed into a tree. So the sergeant can be seen running to the vehicle and he had to break a window in order to get the driver out. He and other Good Samaritans also went back to that Tesla to make sure that no one else was inside. The driver was taken to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. We're going to check back in again here with KGW Weather Impact Alert reporter Thomas Schultz. He's been tracking conditions on area roads in Drive 8. So Thomas, last time we checked in, we couldn't get your mic fired up, but I know it's back in business now. So what are you seeing?
Yeah, that's right, Drew. Look, we're heading north on I-5 on the Terwilliger curves, going back to downtown Portland. About half an hour ago, you checked in with us as we were going in the opposite direction. Look, all morning long, we've seen congestion all over the place, people moving slowly as these roadways are very wet, those windshield wipers going full blast here. Again, it's kind of the same deal that we've seen all morning long is there's people out on the roads. It's not incredible traffic right now. Obviously, that's changed during the time of day, but people are moving relatively cautiously here and a little bit more slowly than usual. We saw some trouble spots earlier this morning. Around 5 a.m., we saw water pooling in downtown Portland with cars driving through inches of rain on the roads. That was before PBOT was able to arrive to Southwest First and Arthur. Water was actually about 3 inches high on the right lane of the road, which eventually just closed it down. Some drivers were forced to change lanes at the last second as they realized they really shouldn't be driving through that. Even that lane change can be really dangerous if there's a driver behind them. PBOT crews eventually arrived and unclogged a drain, which fortunately alleviated a lot of that water pooling. Over in southeast Portland along 82nd, we also saw some spots with a lot of water on the road, forcing drivers there to slow down and move over again into the left-hand lane. Most people have been taking it slow with their headlights on, though we did see one driver on the interstate this morning without headlights on. That can be really dangerous because, as we saw firsthand, it can be hard to see that person even when they're driving right in front of us. Just a note here to remember, if your windshield wipers are on, your headlights should be on as well. The Red Cross also has some tips that we want to pass along for people out there driving. If you are driving today, make sure to keep your car stocked with a first aid kit. Have an emergency radio if possible. Water and non-perishable food, and jumper cables are big. Key thing to note here, cars can stall in 6 inches of water. Again, we already saw 3 inches in downtown Portland. You can see right here on North I-5, water is spraying off of cars in front of us. It's not too bad right now, it's just drizzly, but that's been fluctuating all morning long. Something to monitor if you are, like most people, getting out on the roadways for any reason today. If you need to do so, drive slowly. Obviously, you don't want to hydroplane in something like the weather we're seeing today and are likely going to continue to see into tomorrow. Drew?
All right, Thomas Schultz in Drive 8 out in the elements for us this afternoon, while Chris McGinnis is back here in the studio. So we're going to see what the next 24 hours brings, but as far as the last 24 hours goes, the heaviest rain fell overnight starting at midnight.
Yeah, I think so. About on the order of about an inch of rain between midnight and 6 a.m., hence those big puddles out there. And Thomas brought up a really good point. I mean, like in the dark when you're just cruising on down the highway and all of a sudden you hit a 3-inch puddle of water, I mean, that can spin you sideways in a hurry. So I don't necessarily see that intensity of the rain returning, so that's the good news. But man, what a soaker it's been, and there will be more significant rain in the forecast tonight. Okay, we talked about the almost 2 3/4 of an inch of rain at the airport so far, right? That's kind of round one of this system. Here are some of the unofficial totals from some of the other observation sites. Swift Creek is up on the slopes of Mount St. Helens, 8.4 inches of rain. North Fork is up near the Bull Run Reservoir and up near on the northwest flank-ish of Mount Hood, 7.5 inches of rain. Lewis and Clark, that's just east of Seaside and one of the coastal valleys there, 6.38 inches of rain. Again, very, very significant flooding rains in some cases. That was round one. Round two, you see this big plume of cloud cover out here. It almost looks like there's two pieces, one that's trying to kind of bend towards the south and then another pretty intense one just a little bit farther north and west of that. That is going to continue to target the region here as we head over the, oh, my clicker's doing the thing again. I don't know what happened here, but it is I have a runaway clicker at this point, but where we will go is with this. Moving forward into the rest of this afternoon. Occasional rain continues. There is a chance that that rain actually picks up in intensity late this evening and overnight. In addition to that, this is one thing we're watching. South winds of 15 to 25 are not overly significant, except for the fact that the soils are increasingly saturated. This is a cumulative effect. So you have a 25-mile-an-hour wind gust over saturated soils, and that could easily take down some trees, right, on power lines, producing some power outages. So something that we've already seen could be repeated even if the rainfall amounts aren't what they were last night. That said, we are getting a break in Portland and points north, but it's still raining pretty good down towards Marion County and Lynn and Polk County. Zooming into the metro area, we've actually got a nice little break up in the Longview area. All right, additional rainfall, 1/2 inch to an inch possible. You do need to watch for standing water out there on the roads for the afternoon and evening commute. Futurecast continues to walk that rain through the region, and then we get a break. I think the heaviest, steadiest rain will start to focus to the north, getting into Cowlitz County and points north, getting up towards Olympia and Seattle as we go into the day tomorrow. And if this holds true, well, this would be great because it would give our rivers a chance to come down a little bit, the roads to dry out a little bit. Not that it's not going to rain, but significantly less rain in the Wednesday forecast. Eventually, this whole thing slides on south and we'll pick up the tail end of that. But rainfall amounts have come down significantly in the model forecast. We're down to maybe 1/3 to 1/2 inch here in Portland. We're still focusing on Cowlitz County and points north for being the bullseye of some heavier rain over the next 18 to 24 hours. The next thing, of course, that we wanted to highlight is the possibility, or not the possibility, the likelihood of some increasing south winds. That'll be later on this evening. And again, not that these are overly impressive, but enough that we could have some possible downed trees and power outages. So that's something that you need to be prepared for again overnight tonight and through much of the day tomorrow. Our forecast for Wednesday turns rainy and breezy tomorrow. Occasional rain, breezy conditions with highs in the mid to upper 50s. Rain tapers to showers on Thursday, and then we finally get an opportunity to dry out Friday and Saturday, and that'll really help things quite a bit. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. Coming up here on the news at noon, inches from disaster. We're going to hear from a grandmother who came way too close to getting hit by a piece of concrete on her way to work.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
New here at noon, a close call for a grandmother after a giant piece of concrete, that giant piece right there, crashed onto her car while she was driving along a freeway in Illinois. Reporter Kate Kogarin spoke to the woman and gives us a look at the damage to her car.
I don't see nothing. I just heard boom and everything get dark.
53-year-old Oksana Kowalczuk from Justice, Illinois is recovering tonight after her family says a 2-foot-long chunk of concrete fell off an overpass and hit her SUV's windshield as the grandmother was on her way to work. This happened Friday on I-55 at Pulaski. Oksana was hospitalized with multiple lacerations to her face, neck, and hands.
The worst things, I couldn't sleep because I have stress or something. And my head is really painful.
Oksana's daughter, Victoria Petrov, says her mother is not the only one who is grateful tonight.
We're lucky, not just her. Our whole family is lucky that she's alive and it's unbelievable.
They are thankful, but still traumatized.
When one piece fell in the front, I guess the second one broke and went into the second seat. It bounced from the seat and hit back. Someone has to be responsible for this because this should have never happened. Never.
The Illinois Department of Transportation says it's done multiple inspections since the incident and have not seen any loose concrete. A structure summary report shows the bridge was last inspected October 2024 with no major issues found.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
All right, about 30 seconds here, Chris, to wrap up our weather coverage.
Rain light right now here in Portland returns this afternoon. It may be briefly heavy at times. Another thing we're watching later on this evening with those saturated soils is that the breeze will be picking up. So even though, 15 to 20 mile an hour winds aren't a lot, that could be enough to bring down some trees again overnight tonight, early tomorrow. Mild temps continue when we finally dry out by late Thursday and Friday.
Just a quick reminder, you can catch this newscast anytime you please, thanks to KGW+. Our next local live newscast comes your way at 4 p.m.